Going to stay that way. Okay, I got to start talking because we're rolling here. Prophecy. Is it good? Okay. I want to do an overview of the things that the Lord has told me, prophecies that God has told me over the years. I'm going to try to maybe hit the highlights of things that the Lord has told me. And this is going to be, I want to do this because I want people to know what's coming. And about from the time I was 11 years old, the Lord has began to train me or to entreat me as a prophet. I've had dreams most of my life where I'd have the dream one day and get up the next day and it would happen. And first it would be like small things or just like a deja vu type of thing, like I dreamed this, or I'm thinking like, didn't I dream this one? But and it slowly began to grow, and so much that God has literally spoken to me in words. Now, when God does this, He does it in a fashion that it won't scare you. I don't know how He does it, because normally, if you hear a voice, coming down from above, you think, whoa, man, and pass right out. You think it would be that kind of a theatrical type of thing, but God does it in a way that it's not theatrical at all. And He has learned to speak to me in this fashion in which I understand. Okay, in which He communicates very well. Listen, God is a communicator. You would think that He's not, but He is. Sometimes, the Lord doesn't give me much opportunity to speak back. He does it in that fashion, in a way where I don't have much of a chance. And for instance, hey, listen, you can preach next sermon. I want to do this one. For instance, one time in a dream, I was standing at the Lord's, I was at His feet. Jesus was, He was there. He was Jesus, you know what I'm saying? In all of His glory. And I was so overwhelmed to just be standing in His presence. It's like His full Spirit was upon me. And I couldn't do anything but cry. I was on my knees. I couldn't even get up on my feet. All I could do was hang on to the Lord and cry. But that's the type of thing that, the Lord, He doesn't really give me much time to do anything else except for realize that it's Him when He's speaking to me. Good idea. Stuff her mouth so she'll be quiet. Anyway, but now this is the things that the Lord has told me. He told me that I'm here for the last days. He says I am a special prophet to Him. He didn't say what special prophet. Now, as I put on before, I think it's got something to do with that eagle thing in the Bible. It's possible that I might be that one, but I am not that Elijah that everybody associates that with. I'm here for the last days, but this is what God has said, okay? He's going to send a sign. Isaiah 17 is going to take place. In the midst of this, that God is going to raise up a revival in the midst of this. If you read Isaiah 17, it talks about Damascus being destroyed, totally annihilated. This is the oldest city on the face of the planet. The Lord talked about this when He said, no sign shall be given to an adulterous generation, and this truly is an adulterous generation, except for the sign of the prophet Jonas. And the sign of the prophet Jonas, of course, is the 3 days that he spent in the heart of the earth, in the belly of the whale, and the other sign is the destruction of a city. Nineveh was finally destroyed, but it was, now listen to this, 70 years later, 70 years, just like it says in the book of Daniel about fulfilling that 70 years time span, the time span of the last days, Hello, everybody. That was what Jesus was referring to when he said that about the prophet. The destruction of a city. Isaiah 17 is the destruction of the last day city that Christ was referring to in Matthew when he talked about that. I think it's Matthew 24 that he mentioned that in. And a lot of signs like that. Ezekiel 38, the Lord has told me that Ezekiel 39:4 will be my legacy. God has said that will happen in my lifetime. He will cause that to be a legacy of me. Now, you Bible professors, now you know a lot more about this than I do. All I know about it is what the Lord has shown me and about what's coming. But this is exciting to me because, see, the Lord's coming. He's getting ready to wrap all this stuff up. He's bringing the last days. He's bringing the end to all sin. He's bringing the end to sicknesses. There is plagues coming on the earth. The Lord has told me that the black plague is coming back for the last days. And many such things as this. Diseases are going to cross breed. They're going to it's going to be like a hybrid. You know how the strawberry is like a big one should be about the size of your thumb. And but the ones they have now is half as big as an apple, you know. And they're going to crossbreed. It's going to be like a hybrid disease, just like the hybrid strawberry and that type of thing. And they're going to escalate in size and in massive. It's going to be terrible, terrible diseases for these last days. The Lord has spoken to me about. But at the same time, the Lord is going to glorify Himself in the magnification of what He's doing through the miraculous healing. Man, there's going to be so many dead raised up from the ground. People are going to quit. When they say somebody's funeral, they're going to question if the man's still dead or not. Well, did the guy come and raise him up? No, they left him dead this time. This is the third time he died, so they figured they just left. God wanted him, so they left him. It seems kind of funny in a way, but that's the type of thing that's going to be going on in the last days. You're not going to be able to separate the natural from the supernatural. It's going to be hard for you to separate because, see, God is coming to earth. He's coming to visit like He did before. People are going to say, this is Him who we have waited for. Here's our salvation. We have waited for this, and He is here. And great anointings are going to come. There's going to be preaching. Joel chapter 2 is fixing to sweep this earth. There's going to be revival like you have never seen before. You're not going to be able to walk into a place without the Spirit of God overwhelming. The people will be crying out and falling in the aisles. And it'll be churches that are normally quiet. It's going to be so loud you would think that you was in the worst Pentecostal church you've ever walked into in your whole life. Isn't that something to think about? And it's going to be everywhere you go. When the preacher walks in, it's going to hit right there just like that. And it's not going to stop. Some revivals will go on for days at a time. They're going to have to carry people out from exhaustion. They'll be there 3 days at a time in churches, just like they were with Christ. Man, you're not going to listen. You won't be able to get a hold of people by the hand and lead them out of that place. The Spirit's going to be so strong. Revival's coming. But listen, this is not just any revival. This is the revival of the last days. You have to make up your mind now, during this time. And God is going to announce it with people like me. He's not going to announce it with people on television because those people are so in tune to the world. They're so in tune to pleasing the things of the world, the men of the world, because they're people-pleasing preachers. They're after the people's money. You won't hear the true word of God from preachers like that. True preachers, you got to separate yourself from that type of thing and get into this the spiritual move of God that's happening in these last days, because the Lord is getting ready through all this stuff with Isaiah 17, Ezekiel 38. There's going to be wars and rumors of wars, just like the Lord said. And we're going to have revival in the midst of all of that. And the devil's going to sit back and he's going to hold his peace until this revival is over. But the day that he takes his people out, the day that God takes us in the rapture, takes his people out, the devil's anger will stir, and he will follow after those and try to find those people. And he will take this world over in an instant, a moment of time. In less than a week, in less than 7 days, the devil will rule this entire, he will have his hand, the Antichrist will rule this entire earth. But we won't be here. Pray for those. Pray for those, okay? This is what the Lord is getting ready to do in these last days. The Lord's going to take us home. We're going to be up there. My wife has had a dream of the last day's dinner, and of course she's talked about that before. Such a beautiful thing. We're going to go to that dinner. God is getting ready to send his son, and this is what this prophet is all about. Okay, God bless. We'll see you next time. Another great message right here on Cross in the Middle Ministry.